This is the best Lao Gan Ma chili oil that you can't buy. It's not on Amazon, not on Wii, not at 99 Ranch, nowhere in the West. And as to why, we'll get to in just a sec. What it is, though, is basically that classic Lao Gan Ma black bean chili, but with the notable addition of fried beef together with a good kick of Sichuan pepper. What makes this one specifically so good is that, for us at least, it's the ultimate rice killer. There's just no better Lao Gan Ma to top straight up over white rice, in our opinion. So then, why can't you get this one abroad? Well, as maybe you could guess, it's because of the beef. As anyone that's had some sausage confiscated from them at customs could tell you, bringing meat products across international borders is generally pretty verboten, particularly in the West. Whether it's for ecological reasons, just a bit of good old-fashioned protectionism, or maybe a combination thereof. The legal import of meat products is this Byzantine world, reserved only for the most well-capitalized of industrial producers. Now, I'll focus on the USA here, but many countries are quite similar. There are 3, and only 3 categories of meat that are legally allowed to be imported into the US from China: raw catfish, cooked chicken, and cooked duck. Further, even those products need to come from a set of very specific factories approved and inspected by the USDA. There's no approved beef factories, so there's no luck. And I sincerely doubt US-China trade will be liberalizing anytime soon. We asked Taylor Holliday, an importer of Mala market renown, if there was any possible way to potentially get the product into the US, and the situation seemed pretty clear.
I mean, the laws for meat are highly regulated and highly restricted. The way I read it, the way I understand it, is that absolutely no beef products of any kind can be exported from China.
So then, it looks like we'll just have to make it. Now, as we've talked about on this channel before, Lao Gan Ma belongs to a category of chili oils from the Guizhou province called liaojiu. We showed you how to make it before in a previous video, but there's actually 3 different methods to fry this up that you can find in Guizhou. First, there's the toasted chili method, which toasts, pounds, and fries up some chilies, and that was the way that we showed you before. Second, there's the tbsp chili method, which uses reconstituted pounded dried chilies as a base. And finally, there's the fresh chili method, which works off a foundation of fresh chopped chilies, which are then fried. Now, today we really wanted to mimic that unobtainable Lao Gan Ma, and from what we can tell, it's that last fresh chili method that seems to be the most common among industrial producers, and it does seem to hit the closest to Lao Gan Ma. Unfortunately, the fresh chili method is probably the most annoying of the 3, so if you are in the market for a quicker/easier home cooking variant, we also slapped together another approach later in the video. So then, we'll get started here with some fresh red chili peppers, 400 grams worth in all. Now, the exact cultivar that Lao Gan Ma uses is something called chicken claw pepper, but any medium spicy red fragrant chili will work. Either way, just slice your chilies in half and then de-rib and de-seed. Not obsessively, 80 to 90% sorted is sorted enough for our purpose, so then just let those drain real quick under the sun till they're mostly dry to the touch. So then, after about a half an hour, it's time for the mincing. Now, we want these to be finely chopped, which, fair warning, will take a bit of time. I'd imagine that going the food processor route should also be okay here too. But either way, after about 10 minutes of going at that by hand, you should be looking at something a bit like this. So then just transfer those over to a strainer, mix in about a half teaspoon of salt, and then let it purge. Just let it sit for about 15 minutes, squeeze out any excess moisture, and then set those aside. Then, for the douchi, that Chinese fermented black soybean, Lao Gan Ma actually ferments their own, and it's actually a pretty well-guarded trade secret. It's even been the subject of lawsuits. If you can happen to find a Sichuan-style douchi, that'd definitely be best, but for us, we'll just be using 80 grams worth of a bog-standard Cantonese sort. So just give those a quick rinse, hit it with a bit of hot boiled water, and then let that steep for about a half an hour. Next, because that bottle of Lao Gan Ma beef does have that obvious Sichuan pepper kick, in order to get that same flavor, we'll need to pound a bit ourselves. So, first just toss 2 teaspoons of whole Sichuan peppercorns to a wok, and start to toast them over a medium-low flame. Once you can see a few oil splotches on your wok, after about 3 minutes, transfer those over to a mortar or spice grinder and sort it into a fine powder. Then, final thing to prep, the beef. Here we've got 150 grams of whatever ground beef, which we'll first marinate with a half teaspoon salt, half teaspoon Sichuan peppercorn powder, quarter teaspoon white pepper powder, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, together with another teaspoon of liaojiu, a.k.a. Shaoxing wine. Mix well, and then we can fry. So, 1 cup of oil, preferably Sichuan saizio if you can get your hands on it, but Indian mustard seed oil or just a bit of peanut will also do the job. So, over a medium flame, first go in with a bit of aromatics. 8 cloves of smashed garlic, 1-inch smashed ginger, together with an optional quarter of an onion cut into slices. Quick note that Lao Gan Ma beef doesn't add any onion to theirs, but I personally do like the addition. Either way, once those are all good and golden brown, after about 8 minutes, strain it all and add the oil back to the pot. Then, medium-high flame, now we can go in with our beef. Now, just like with mapo tofu, the way this beef gets fried here might kind of contradict some of your mince frying instincts. We don't want this beef to get to done. We want to get it past done, or until it's crisp and the fat's rendered out. So once your beef looks good and cooked, you're about halfway there. Keep it going for about 6 minutes in total, or until you're looking at something a bit like this, then take that out as well. Then, again, add the oil back to the pot, and now we'll go in with our finely minced chilies. For those chilies, though, definitely do keep your flame on medium-low or medium at max for 2 reasons. First, while we did do a purge, these still have plenty of liquid inside, and we don't want things to pop like crazy. And second, this frying process will take a while, but near the end, things go from 0 to midnight in an absolute snap. What you'll be looking for is for the chilies to basically expel their moisture and have slightly deepened in color into something a bit more crimson than red. That was after about 12 minutes for us. So then at that point, toss in a tablespoon and a half of a red fragrant chili powder like cashmere gochugaru, together with those douchi. Fry that for about a minute, till the moisture from the douchi is bubbled away, then add back in your beef. Season with a generous 1 teaspoon of MSG, together with a teaspoon of sugar, a half teaspoon each salt and chicken bouillon powder, the Sichuan peppercorn powder from before, and mix. Transfer over to a bowl, and for best results, wait 1 day before devouring. Now, what we just made there is a pretty solid copycat of that Lao Gan Ma beef, but there is an easier way that can get you most of the way there. Because what isn't illegal to buy abroad is Lao Gan Ma black bean chili, and neither is ground beef, I'm pretty sure. So I think we can make this work. That's it. We'll want to fry the beef in the same way, and we definitely don't want to water down that flavor. So we'll first get 2 tablespoons of a red fragrant chili powder and soak that at first to help it fry a bit more slow and even. Here we're using 2 tablespoons of Chinese baijiu, but you could use vodka or even water. Then we'll fry that all in the same way, but only in a 1/4 cup of oil with all the other ingredients halved. So fry the aromatics till browned, strain, and fry the beef till it's crisp. Then go in with your soaked chili powder and fry that over a low flame until it stops bubbling, about 1 to 2 minutes. Then just go in with a 1/4 cup of the Lao Gan Ma black bean chili, together with your seasoning. Mix well, remove, and just like the other one, this will also be best 1 day later.
So right, a big thank you for our friends over at Mala Market to help research for this video. While you definitely cannot buy the beef Lao Gan Ma over on their website, but they definitely do have some very good Sichuan douchi together with some other ingredients that are very good but hard to find. So definitely check them out. So right, check out the recipe in the description box. A big thank you for everyone that's supporting us on Patreon, and of course, subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.